Hello, Ambazonians. Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, April the 28th, 2022. I am Mike Fusey, your host of the Warzone, and it's a pleasure to be here once more with you on this uh, uh, panel of ABS to host a very exciting show which I have to bring to you today. And I'm hoping that you will do me a favor as usual and share the link for this show because I have some really exciting discussions to have with a powerful panel that I'm bringing on today. I'm sure most of you have seen the flyers, if not all of you, at least many of you have seen the flyers and you have seen the personalities that are coming on board today. In line with the vision of President Njomia Marianta during his inauguration, where she laid out the need to expand the horizon and to open the doors for those who would want to come in and talk with this interim government so that we can try to form as large a coalition as possible to make sure that those who have, for some reason, been discouraged to continue with the struggle are welcome back in so that together, holding hands, we can march to our freedom in Boya. And it is with that vision, therefore, that we are uh, changing the programming on ABS to make sure that it is as inclusive as possible. Let the best ideas win. We are not excluding anyone. As long as your ideas are for the independence of the Southern Cameroons, that if the final objective is to make sure that the Southern Cameroons Ambazonia obtains or reaffirms its independence as it was before we made the colossal mistake of going or coming together with La République du Cameroon, which we now realize was a tragic mistake, and we are trying to correct that mistake. And it is costing us in blood and treasure to do that. But it is something we have to do. It is something we have to do, or else future generations will suffer. It is therefore for that reason that I will be bringing on board a powerful panel so that we have a fruitful discussion on the past, the present, and the future of the Ambazonian Revolution for the restoration of its independence. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the package I have for you today. And I would like for you to really do me a favor and make sure the numbers jump here. I would like to say some salutations here. I see someone, we must rise up now or never. You are very correct. John Wood, you are very right. I agree with you 100%. Ambazonia must be free. Again, very correct. Mark Cyril, March Fire, Mike. I am doing exactly that, my brother. I'm doing exactly that. And I hope you will share the link and make sure that there are a good number of persons who will come in and join us on the show today so that we have a discussion. Let's have a discussion. So please do me a favor and share the link. Share the link, share it as far and wide as possible. Tell your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your auntie, your children. Of course, the future is theirs. They have to be here with us because we are fighting for them. We are not fighting for ourselves. We already are on the way out. So it is for them now to come in and assume these responsibilities because it is theirs to benefit from. So please, yes, keep sharing the link. Keep sharing the link while I say some salutations to those. And please, let me know what you're thinking when you come in. Don't just sit there and watch. Send me a message. Let me know what you're thinking. Say hello to me in your dialect or whatever, even in English. Say hello to me. Let me know where you are watching from and from what tribe or village you're from, so I can say hello to you. I may try to say hello to you in your own language, of course. So thank you, Kumar Mike. Chato Robert. Hello, Comrade Chato. Nice to see you watching. Please go on and let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're thinking. How do you what are your thoughts about the show? What are your thoughts? How do you think the revolution is going? Are there things we should be doing better? Are there things we have done wrong? Let us know. Share with us your ideas and your thoughts, your impressions about the performance, especially that of President Maranta, who just came on board. Of course, she just came on board, so she's still trying to get some things in place so she can do the right things, make the right decisions to Ambazonia, and we very much appreciate your input. So go ahead and let us know what you're thinking, please. Keep sharing, keep sharing. I don't see the numbers jumping to my likeness yet. Uh, in other news, I know that you must have heard about some of the killings that happened in Gaza. And those are not the only ones, of course. We've heard of killings in the southern zone, I think in Muyuka, where people were slaughtered. Even a woman was killed. A woman was killed because she was accused of having been a girlfriend of an Ambazonian fighter, and she was shot and killed. Imagine that. You're just a girlfriend, you're not a fighter, you have nothing to do with the struggle, and then you are shot and killed. And especially the one in Guzan, which was so gruesome. And even there was other killings somewhere in Bamenda. I think it was below Foncha's residence in Bamenda. There's a small creek down there, a small stream down below Foncha, where recently there were dead bodies found there. They just kill our boys, they kill our people, and they dump their bodies, and we keep fishing our people out of rivers as if they have become fish. Our people are not fish that will keep fishing their bodies out of the rivers. So it is really pathetic what the Republic is doing. And most of these people are not even fighters. Ordinary citizens just going about their businesses and they get killed. Some just being an Okada driver has now become a very dangerous profession. Yes, that's one thing we have to understand. Being an Okada driver or rider in Ambazonia today is a very dangerous profession because at any time you could be accused of being an Amber boy and you're dead, and nobody is there to ask any questions. In that rotten country, nobody asks any questions as to what happened. And specifically to the killings in Gaza, which a story is still unfolding. We are told that as many as 8 persons were slaughtered. As many as 8 persons were slaughtered. Most of them, if not all of them, pulled out of their houses. They were pulled out of their houses and killed in cold blood. They were pulled out of their houses and killed without any weapons, not at the war front. No, they went around looking for them in their houses in the night when they were sleeping, pulled them out of the houses and killed. And you could see from the attires they had that they were not fighters, or they did not have any weapons. They didn't pose any danger to anybody. But of course, in the minds of the Republic of Cameroon soldiers, any male Ambazonian citizen is a target for killing. It's a target for killing. And once that is done, nobody asks any questions. Nobody will ask any question as to why it happened. That is what it has become. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to see you uh, uh, sharing the link. Fusilivenus, my brother. Hello, Comrade Mike. Yes, hello to you. Alaji Isaga, good evening. You are welcome. Program. Yes, yes, yes. Bobga, hello, Comrade Mike. Good evening. Thank you for all the work. Thank you too, my brother, for being here. And continue sharing the link and encourage others to join so we can have this discussion. I have Comrade Jiban. Comrade Jiban will be joining me shortly. Comrade Comfort is joining us. Dr. Gwambe is coming on board. And if Comrade Sama Thomas gets back from his trip, he will join us as well. So we have a very fruitful discussion about the past, the present, and the future of the Ambazonian revolution. So please, I would like to see the numbers increasing. They're not increasing yet, like they're increasing, but not as fast as I would like. So keep on sharing, please. Keep on sharing the link. Let us get the numbers up to the at least some hundreds, so we can make sure that everyone, most Ambazonians can benefit from this discussion, because it's going to be very rich. So I don't want us to waste it. So keep on sharing, and I keep saying hello to you. Hello to you. Max 3 again is watching. Yes. Tanget Terence. Hi. Hello to you. Yes. Please keep sharing. Keep sharing. Keep increasing the numbers so that we get to a comfortable number. Then I'll bring in my panel. Again, as I was saying, we have to figure out how to stop these killings, because it is becoming unbearable. We know that La Republique is a lawless country. They say they have a president, but when was the last time we saw Provia? I think the last time was when there was the so-called AFCON, where a trophy was being handed to him and he didn't even have the energy to hold the trophy. He had to touch it just to hand it over. He couldn't walk to where normally a president would go to hand the trophy to the winning team. He sat at the podium where he was sitting. Whether he was carried there, we don't know. And that is where the players had to walk up to him so he can touch the trophy and hand it over to them. What a shame that we have people who are already dead leading a country, and the people are just going about as if there's nothing happening, or like it's very normal. And you have a bunch of crooked people there doing what every person just doing whatever they want. No, who cares? And the country is going down the drain, and they want us to be hinged on the ways with them on this sinking ship. La Republic is a sinking ship, if you do not understand. It is a sinking ship, and we must extricate ourselves from it before they take us down to the bottom of the ocean. Let us remove ourselves from that sinking ship called La Republique de Cameroon, before they take us down to the bottom of the ocean. So, Salim Saidu, watching from Addis Ababa. That is good. Addis Ababa. You're watching ABS from Addis Ababa. That's good to know. Bobga Esther. Hello, comrade. Good evening, yet. And let me see the numbers increasing, please. At this point, I will start bringing in my guests. Why don't I start with Comrade Jiban? Are you there, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Comrade Jiban, it's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Can, can, can you hear me? Can you
Very
hear me?
hear me?
Your audio is is not very steady. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. If you can work on the audio, it's not coming through it's not very audible, if I should say. And I don't know if Dr. Ngwambe is there. Dr. Ngwambe, are you there? Okay.
Hey, Comrade Mike. Obona.
Abalata.
My fellow Ambazonians, welcome. You know, like we're gonna have a very spirited show today. So we're glad to be with you all. To our fighters, keep up the good work. To our people in Ground Zero, keep being resilient. Keep being steadfast. For our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, freedom is not free. Blood, sweat, and time. That's what gets you freedom. So look forward to discussing with you all today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on board. And Comrade Comfort, I don't know if she's on now. Comrade Comfort, are you there?
I think that I'm there.
All right. You're looking good.
Thank you, bro. Same. Greetings to the panel. Hello, Comrade Jivan. It's really great to meet you here. Bo, asaloro,
As well.
Dr. Ngwambe,
Ah,
you there?
All right, and while Comrade Jiban is getting his audio fixed, let me see if Comrade Sama Thomas is with us.
Ooh.
Comrade Sama Thomas, he did indicate that he may join us much later, so I'm sure he's still on his way. When he comes, we'll check with him again later. So, yes, Dr. Mwambe, Comrade Comfort, and Comrade Jiban, it's nice again to have you on the panel of the war zone. I have this discussion, and there have been a lot of debate going on recently as to the trajectory of our struggle. And I just thought that we should come together and try to think together and to figure out where we're coming from, where are we at this given time, and where we are heading to. And then maybe that will help the decision makers as well as the general public to understand exactly what we've been through, what we're going through now, and what we may be facing in the days ahead, and the probability of success for Ambazonia. So, why don't we start? I don't know if Comrade Japan is able to fix his audio yet. The enthusiasm that we had in 2017, 2018, when we came out with peace plans and hundreds of thousands, if not millions, on the streets to demonstrate our displeasure with the treatment we've had from La République du Cameroon over the years. And this was preceded, of course, by other smaller demonstrations. For example, the one in Bamenda by this guy of the coffin revolution. I'm
Mancho.
forgetting his name now. Yeah, Mancho BBC. Mancho BBC. I think that started simply because he wanted better roads in Bamenda. He wanted better roads in Bamenda. And so, and the roads were just falling apart and nobody was doing anything to fix them. So he started demonstrating, and that demonstration just took on wings of its own and is metamorphosed into quite something else. And for that demonstration, just for the fact that he was willing to come out and demonstrate, that is why he is sitting in jail today, just for demonstrating. That is the kind of country we live in. And then, of course, we had the teachers and the lawyers who also came out because our educational system was being adulterated with the employment of French-speaking teachers to teach what they did not even understand. And of course, our courts were being filled with French-speaking lawyers who were confusing our people when it came to trying cases. And fast forward, this is where we are today. But at the time this thing came out, there was a lot of enthusiasm, there was a lot of support, and Ambazonians were very hopeful that at long last, this build-up, this gas that had been confined in the stomach of the Cameroons for quite some time has at long last found an opening, and that from that, Ambazonia will be able to regain its independence and to respect the wishes of the La République du Cameroon, because they had already declared secession when Paul Biya decided to go back to their country's name before independence, which was La République du Cameroon. So the question is, given this trajectory from 2016, 2017, 2018 up till now, and the leaders that have emerged, that had emerged at that time, I want us to limit the leaders from that period. I don't want us to go beyond prior to 2016. Just leaders that had emerged during this revolutionary period. Let us examine them and see their performance and see if they have merited the the support and the loyalty of the Ambazonian people, and whether or not they have what it takes to lead Ambazonia to freedom. That is why I thought we should bring this topic today. So, Dr. Ngwambe, why don't you take a dig at it first? Can you give your appraisal of the Ambazonian struggle from 2016 till now? Just a wholesome evaluation before we go into the details.
Dan Mike, thank you for recounting that history. And before I jump into it, let me just make sure I greet my sister, the press secretary, Mark Comfort. There's some people that when you enter some kind of environment, when you see them and they day for day, get for the fear. And Mark Comfort, I one of that kind of people then.
Thank you, bro.
And greetings also to my brother G Ben. So bro, Dan Mike, you recaptured our history pretty well, from Manchu BBC of the Coffin Revolution to the activities of Dr. Fontem Neba and Pat Tasang and all those who were involved in the teachers' strike and the lawyers' strike, all the way to the formation, the consortium, the things that happened in Nigeria that brought about the formation of the interim government and all those things, there have been a lot of activities. We really have to thank all those who came out in the beginning and called a spade a spade. All those who came out with a lot of courage, because I think about Manchu BBC and the things that he was doing. He showed a lot of courage, knowing what La Republic is capable of doing, and not even capable, knowing what La Republic does do to people who fight for, political change, social justice, and accountability and transparency in the way things are managed. So we really have to, give thanks to people like him, give thanks to people like Pat Tasang, even our countryman Dr. Neba Fontem. Even though some things went wayward and some suspicions came about him, he played his part, and we're appreciative to him for the part that he played. I know you didn't want to go past 2016, and I know I'm going to get into trouble for probably mentioning some of these people's names, but everyone also knows that of the Dr. Akwangas and even Dr. Choyaba and the militant activities that they partook in prior to us ever even getting to this armed struggle that we are in now. So a lot of people have come in to play their part, and I think that's what we as Ambazonians, we really need to appreciate and accept that. How do they say it in life now? The one thing that's really constant in life besides death and taxes is change. And it's how you incorporate change, how you embrace that change to help you survive. That's what takes you to the next level. And what we have seen in the Amazonian liberation struggle is that change has come at various different steps that took us to the different points of where we are. If there's any leader who thinks they're going to sit tight and not, recognize that maybe they've done their part, and it's time now to hand over to the next set of people who are coming up to take us to the next level, that means you're not ready to accept change as embodied in the Amazonian liberation struggle. This liberation struggle has been about change at every level. I mean, think about it. When Mark Barretta and Tapang, they handled the liberation struggle from when Patasang and Nebafontem were locked up. They're the ones who really galvanized the diaspora to really pay attention to this liberation struggle and really helped being and were part of the foundation of internationalizing the liberation struggle. Then it progressed from them back to Patasang, and eventually when Patasang went to Nigeria and he saw that a new crop of leadership was coming up, he embraced it, and he actually even became a part of that leadership. Right?
Yeah. Thank you for that. Thank you for that appraisal. I would like Comrade Jiban to give his own take on it. Given our trajectory from the early days of the struggle up to now, how do you think we have performed? And just a wholesome short summary of what you think how we have performed before we'll go into the details as the program progresses, of course.
Well, thank you for having me. Is my audio better now?
Yeah, it's much better.
Okay,
much better.
Thank you. I greet everybody. tonight. Thank you for that question. You know, we didn't go looking for this struggle. The struggle came to us. We didn't ask for any fight. They brought the fight to us. We know the fight to us. I'm talking about La République France and La République Française du Cameroun. They brought the fight steps, and when they introduced the fight, we were shy. We did not. We pleaded them, addressed it in a gentleman's way. We took it to different quarters, brought it to the United States, brought it to the United Nations, brought France to the EU Parliament, took it to everywhere in Europe. We've knocked all doors and begged every kind of people there exist in the world. And for some reason, whatever the reason is, oppressors did not to the call for cessation of violence. They just kept slaughtering our people. They still do. But it's going to go the way they thought they would walk over us, slaughter us, finish us.
I don't know what's happening with your audio, Comrade Jiban. It is still. It started off well, but then it started like breaking up and really disrupting what you were saying there, and we're not able to get you well. I don't know what the issue is. If you could just tweak some things around again and see if you get it better. While I give the chance
All right.
to Comrade.
I'm going to try to have to.
Just tweak it a little bit. Let's give it a chance to Comfort to tell us exactly how you feel about our performance this far. Your audio is not on. Audio. No, you were good at first. I don't know what has happened. If it doesn't come on, you may have to log. Okay. All right. Just log off and log back on. Yeah. Dr. Ngwambe, as we were saying, I think as you were saying, we started with all these leaders playing a role, and some of these leaders started off very well.
Comrade Mike, can you hear me now? Can you hear now?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
All right. Go ahead. I just had to quickly sign out, log out, and log in again. So if Comrade Jiban can try that too, sorry, I just have to go
he should log off and log back on. Yeah.
Yes. Another thing is, if he tries again and it's not going, you can call him on WhatsApp. Let him be on the screen but speak to you through WhatsApp. That helps too.
Okay.
Really.
All right.
We can't afford not to have him.
Yes, that's another option. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Comrade Mike, for making it possible for us to be here again tonight. And of course, when I see my best friend around Dr. Ngwambe, I smile from molar to molar. Comrade Jibam, there's just no way we can miss you because it feels like, wow, you are here now.
We have to make sure he takes part in the debate. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. By God's grace, let him try everything. If it's not going, let him be on the screen but speak through WhatsApp. That really does help.
Yes.
Yeah. So, fellow Ambazonians, thank you for joining in. The numbers are not encouraging. Please share. This is about us. So, like you are saying, my dear brother, where do we start from? Let's have a look at 2016, just to add to what Dr. Ngwambe was saying, and all of those. We have our brothers and sisters who were so courageous because the Republic of Cameroon, this country we have lived in for as long as we can remember, is who they are, is what they are, the animal in them. You can never kill it. So the courage that they just had, like Mancho Bibixi, being a young person, father of this coffin revolution, however this came into his mind, only God knows. And he did really well, even though he was picked up, even where he is now, we still encourage him and we thank him for being there for us, because if he did not start off, we would not be here today. It started as just a coffin revolution, and now it is a liberation movement, right? And they did really, really well. You know, when you think about people like Tassan, a lot they did. So much admiration. You know, Tassan is that kind of person. I always look at him and say, I don't know what's going on in his mind. You hardly see him smile. You know that look on his face, that fateful day when he said, let's see, by Monday we will know who owns the southern Cameroons. And you know when that Monday came till today, we have known and we will never forget who owns this country, the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Tassan said it because they meant business and the time was just that time. They were just on time. I thank them for the courage that they took. All the torture they went through is just part of the package. If you are not tortured, if people don't die, if people are not raped and all of those, then the things have not taken place. The change will not come. It takes that sacrifice, and they did sacrifice. They did just a lot, right? Our leaders from those days and so on, even the Agbobala, who would be our leader then, even though now he will never be, right? They did well. They spoke up, yeah. And then, and things were moving and depict this team, like we said, Mark Barretas and Tapang, they did really, really well. You know, they were vibrant, they were powerful, and so on. Before some of us, even the ladies, I can't forget, because leadership in this struggle, as you see, like that, people have who they look up to as leaders, right? We had the vibrant ladies too coming back to the diaspora. The Abu Freeze, the Mami Geras, the Vimbangwis, and so on and so forth. People fought. I know that Mami Gera would sit and rally up to hundreds, almost 1,000 people talking and talking and talking and talking, right? All of these things. Let's not look at who exactly we want to call leaders, like the Ayabachos, and even, I will not say Dr. Ebenezer is not of the 2016, because of course he is and he has been, right? They did well. Dr. Ayabacho and his dream, or his mantra of rooftop by rooftop, neighborhood by neighborhood, we will liberate our country rooftop by rooftop, neighborhood by neighborhood, Jangi house by Jangi house, right? That was a good one, and he had a great blueprint. Not until things went sour, because if not me, then nobody else could, right? This team was hot, and we were doing really, really well. We looked up to all of these people, right? Before all of the things that happened, as they have brought us where we are. And I think we're just trying to have a look. We will go deep into this. I admire even the courage of yes. You want me to stop now?
So as we were saying, let's not go too deep right now. And I'm just hoping that Comrade Jiban's audio is better now.
I really do.
If not, I will call him so we can have the discussion on WhatsApp. Let me know. Comrade Jiban, can you try it again? Let's see how your audio will sound right now. Comrade Jiban, are you there? He's probably still trying to fix it.
I know. Yeah, because if you call him on WhatsApp and you point your phone to the microphone, he will still do the job really well.
Yes.
Honorable Joseph Wirba gathers Ambazonians. The time for his long-awaited great vision for the liberation of Ambazonia has come. The vision that inspired him to stand up for Southern Cameroons in Cameroon's parliament to condemn Ambazonia's subjugation. The vision that got the oppressors hunting for his head. Wirba's vision for the freedom of Ambazonia is even stronger and clearer today than before. Let's come together, stand by him and with him. Join him in Stuttgart, Germany for the Great Conference on Freeing Ambazonia. Wirba now has a direct route to Ambazonia's liberation. All routes lead to Stuttgart, Germany on Saturday, May 14th. Be there.
That was a commercial break there. Very timely, of course.
Right.
I'm trying to get Comrade Jiban to see if he can. His call is not going through. Let me see. Okay, we will continue, and I'll try to reach him during one of the breaks. Okay, let's take a look at some of the leaders that have been instrumental in. I'm talking about the major leaders. We're all leaders, right? We're all leaders, but let's look at the instrumental leaders, those that have been considered frontline. I will mention some names, and you can add as you see fit. Of course, we remember Ayuk Tabe, we remember Akwanga, Dr. Ayaba, Bo Herbert, Dr. Sako, Honorable Weber. But to name but these few, I would like us to appraise their performance, and so ambassadors can know how has each of these persons performed on the stage of this struggle. What have been their strengths and their weaknesses, so that we evaluate them and see if they have what it takes to take us, if at all, to take us over the finish line, or do we need something else? Uh, you can pick whichever you like. From Ayuk Tabe, our first revolutionary president, Dr. Akwanga, Dr. Yaba, Bert, Dr. Sako, Honorable Weber. I will intentionally leave out our current president, Marianta Njomia, because she has just gotten in. She hasn't had time to show what she can do. So I will, for reasons of limitations of experience, I will leave her out of this evaluation. So, Dr. Ngwambe, what can you say about these leaders that I've mentioned, and any other person you may want to add to the list?
Well, I guess let's start with Dr. Ayabacho. Dr. Ayabacho, who is someone who he gives a damn good speech, or a damn great speech.
Mm-hmm.
He presents himself as someone who has a strong command of what it takes to get things done. But unfortunately, because of the activities of ADF,
Mm-hmm.
his reputation has been ruined, and because of him not wanting to collaborate, or not. Let me say him not showing an immediate willingness to collaborate in the early days when things were beginning to form in place. I've heard the stories about how Sisiku Ayuktabe tried to bring him in to serve as a secretary of defense or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's some of those funny things that have caused his personality and his reputation to be messed up, and along with some of the activities in Ground Zero that allegedly and factually his ADF fighters have been engaged in. I mean, it's going to take a lot. I mean, you know how I mentioned earlier, I might get in trouble if I mention some of these names. I mean, I just imagine I have to give that caveat before I mention his name, just because of the things that he has been associated with. And it's going to take a lot for anyone to really consider him, I mean, even you see all this collaboration talk that is going around now, and people are still so hesitant to do it. People are looking at, whenever you hear the word collaboration, ADF, everyone is finding a very long spoon to Gary. You understand?
For obvious reasons, right?
For obvious reasons, for well-known reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really unfortunate. And one thing that I'll like Ambazonians to take into consideration is just that, my fellow Ambazonians, when you're engaged in war and your enemy knows that there are people about you who have questionable issues around them, you know what they're going to do? They're going to wear the outfits of those people who you are suspicious of and engage in activities that will cause you to doubt that person even more, for you to be suspicious of that person even more. And at times, I suspect that is kind of what has happened to Dr. Yabacho and his ADF. That La Republic has found out that Ambazonians are really very suspicious of him. So they've embedded people with his fighters, and they've engaged in some kind of funny activities that just continues to ruin his reputation. And then there's some of the things that his own people from the Pascal Kiki, some of the things that they've gone live on TV and said against certain fighters who were very productive, that didn't help the ADF case. So there's just a lot of cloudiness around Dr. Yabacho.
Especially when he fails to come out to say something against such pronouncements.
Yep. And that's the challenge that he faces. He needs to come out and be a little bit more forceful against them. I know there are people in his camp who will say, yeah, when Tapang used to be so the way he is. You see how they've kind of put Tapang in a particular corner and not let him be so out there anymore. So that's how they'll try to justify that. Now let's look at Dr. Akwanga. Dr. Akwanga is someone again who, I mean, these are people who have been long in the struggle. They started things in the early days. They tried to get militant. They had bad timing. Let me say it like that. They had bad timing, and they tried to take the military route before Ambazonians were really mentally prepared for it. And he also is someone who presents himself as having a strong command of international relations, military relations, and all those type of things. But unfortunately for him, he has not been able to build an organization that can support his aspirations. If you look at people like Dr. Sako, Ayuk Dabe, and Dr. Yabacho, these are gentlemen who have been able to build organizations that help support their aspirations. For let me not discount the fact that Akwanga has his own organization, but it's not to the same level. You understand? It's not to the same level. It's not populated with people the same way you would look at the interim government of what Dr. Sako and Ayuk Dabe tried to do, and even what Dr. Yabacho has tried to do with his own organization. They've built up organizations that support their aspirations for trying to achieve the liberation of Ambazonia. Yeah. And then if we come to Sisiku Ayuk Dabe, he was someone who, I guess sometimes it looks like he was in the right place at the right time. When he became the leader of the interim government, there were things that were plagued in his administration that didn't look good. I mean, I know he worked a lot on diplomacy. In the Atlanta area, in the southeast of the U.S., he is very highly respected there because, he came out, he visited a lot of people, he looked very presidential, he was very productive in the diplomatic activities. I saw a picture of him with Newt Gingrich. I saw him at the White House. They were trying to get him to meet all different types of leaders in the U.S. And then, unfortunately, he just made the dumbest decision in the world. He just thought that Nigeria would cover him and not allow him to be picked up by La République du Cameroun. Up till now, I still don't get what he was thinking going back to Nigeria. I just don't get it. So, and what was the other thing? He was really, I mean, I don't know whether he was just doing this, not to be very out front about it, but it didn't seem like he was out for the military option. And that was one of the things that, that caused me not to really gravitate for him, because I know La République du Cameroun. The force of argument, Inoba Waka with La République du Cameroun. So when I used to see him go around doing that, his, the peace forceful thing, I just looked at it. It didn't make any sense to me. It didn't make any sense to me. And that's why we were fortunate when we saw people like Dr. Sako come out and Dr. Yabacho come out, and those who came out with the military option and said, hey, the only way we'll beat La République, we get for knock them. We know they. And that's the truth. The only way we'll beat La République and make them value going to the negotiating table is by we give for knock them. We give a fine stick knock them. We know they we.
Yeah, I think it's from the studio.
Yep. And then
can you hear me,
Honorable Werba is one of those very courageous politicians.
Can you hear me?
And, yes, I can hear you, Tom Mike.
Okay, all right. Okay, I was able to get Comrade Jiban on the phone, so I would like for him to come in and share his own thoughts of I want us to limit it to maybe like 50 seconds each appraiser of each leader, so we can move on quicker and get to the real discussions here. Comrade Jiban, can you appraise all these leaders I've mentioned? You have our first president, Yuktabe, Dr. Kwangwa, Dr. Ayaba, Bo Herbert, Dr. Sako, and of course, Honorable Weber. These are the ones I thought I should pick. There are a lot of them, but we can't discuss about everybody at the same time. So, what's your take on the performance of each of these individuals? I know it's a short time to give an appraisal of all of them. If we can pick a few, then Comrade Comfort, we can do the rest of some of these leaders, please. Are you on the phone?
You hear me now?
Okay, yep.
Awesome. All right, we'll try this. So this is what I'll say. Not to pick any leader.
You might have
There's
to shut
another
your
device.
audio, your computer audio.
So the computer finally worked, yeah?
It is coming through. Let me see. Let me put this down and see if that will be okay. All right. Let me see. Let me hear you talk now. Can you speak? Let's see if it works.
Is it better?
All right, go ahead. Let's see how that works.
Okay, I apologize. My upload speeds are really terrible.
All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, for me to appraise India leader by leader, it's a difficult thing to do. I want to say, given the circumstances, them have done, all of them have done great, including the ones that have made some serious mistakes. Given the circumstances under without definition of anything, without constitution, without regulation, people came in and they were trying to make the rules under which they were going to live. So there was no yardstick, no standard, no guiding principle. Everybody was doing their best, so they thought. So I want to be generous and give the doubt. So far, not to say somebody has done so bad, someone has excelled exceedingly more than the others. What I'll say is, it is the people, it is us, the people now evaluate and say, okay, we've been at this for this long. What do we want? How do we want it? And how soon we want to bring this to a conclusion? Once we define those, and then we're going to say, maybe leadership. Of course, we need leadership. How do you want that leadership to us? You have the leader that you make to be your leader. How are they going to lead you? Under what principles they will cooperate with you? Going forward, don't leave it open anymore. Don't think the leader knows it all. It's a lie. Nobody. Define for the leader like a baby.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you have to do in the morning. This is what in advanced, societies, organizations, they define to the leader what the leader has to say. You have to go just allow and react impromptu to questions or things that you have to do. They call it morning briefing. You go to the morning briefing, not because you want to go tell some people what they have. They will tell you what your day has to look like. They'll even tell you what you have to eat and not eat for that day. Go and for that day. Your baby again wants you to be a leader because they'll tell you everything to do. As opposed to our old system, our old regime, that we expect our leaders to tell us what to do. We expect our leaders to know it all, and it's difficult, especially when you are up there and isolated. Sometimes you don't.
Yeah,
So
I think you're on
Um,
to a very important point there, Jiban, and because coming from a background where we have lived through two very long periods of dictatorship, where the leader was all, and whatever the leader said was law, and this is the mentality with which the Ambazonians came into this struggle. And the checks and balances that were supposed to be placed on our leaders were severely relaxed until we started getting into trouble. It is just now that people are beginning to realize that no, if we truly want to have the Ambazonia that we want, we have to start holding our leaders responsible and making sure that they don't just do what they want, but what is good for the people. So I think I like that angle of it. Comrade Comfort, I would like for you to come in here and give your own evaluation, and then we will move on from there.
Okay, thank you so much, Nima. Given that we don't have much time, I won't spend time to go back and repeat all that has been said by the two comrades in the house. But I would like to straight pick up on something that Comrade Jivan says that even though we started, nobody had any experience, there was no yardstick, no standard, and so on and so forth. Let me pick on Comrade Ayabacho. We know that by nature all of us have our flaws. No one is painted white, right? And like any other one, he did well, he would have done well. And I just want to be frank here that quickly in 2016, 2017, I would call him a demagogue, right? But this term got disassociated from him as quick as really possible. We really do understand that nobody is born a revolutionary. Nobody was trained to do this because we were not expecting it. It just came on us like in the days of Noah, right? However, even though we're trying to learn on the job, learn by doing, learning while doing, everything we tried to do was like for the best interest of Ambazonians. Everybody, all of these leaders have made their grievous mistakes, but some are worse than others. You know, somebody like Dr. Ayabacho, I may speak only about him, but nothing against him because I still, as much as I cannot really establish that he is working with La République du Cameroon, we still want to question what have you been doing because all of the fingers are pointing on you. Your activities, his activities on the ground have been that those that have caused us pain. We weep each time he sets foot anywhere on the ground. That is not that's not supposed to be the case. So the question now
Yes.
is, on whose interest are you working? Because in spite of the no experience that we had, our leaders have had, we've been managing to do it, and no matter, we're learning, trying to figure it out. But whatever thing we manage with the no experience that we have should be for the best interest of our people. Dr. Ayabacho, all of the things that you have been doing, have they been for the best interest of the people? If yes, then do you think we should keep on like that? If no, what is he planning to do? What are the people surrounding him thinking? When we listen even to some of their leaked audios and videos, you hear them planning to kill children, and it happens. Things like that are those the things I would say, even though other mistakes have been committed, there are some that are
Yes.
unacceptable, and we ask for a change because things can really be done. Nima, help me out. I really need to say something really quick. It's rather,
Okay.
I have been close to all of the presidents from Sisiku to. I was not in Sisiku's government, but I was very close to him because of his speeches that I would translate into pidgin, right? So I know how much when Sisiku was forming the government, he stretched a hand of fellowship. He called a Yabacho into the cabinet. He called a few of them out there, and they made a mockery of it, circulated the letter on social media, and made a mockery of it and laughed that they have nothing to do with Johnny just come. Dr. Ayabacho is just like that kind of person. He finds himself like the middle finger of Ambazonia. Nobody goes above the middle finger. He is here, and nobody comes
Yep.
up there. Right? I'm not
Yeah.
picking on him. He is still my brother, and I've been in trouble for calling Ayaba my brother. I will still call him like that because I really do hope he changes. Right? He had good strategies, but how did he bring them forth? Some workers as La République du Cameroon would say, or the colonial language they say, that is Ayaba for you, you know. So it
Yep.
doesn't work like that.
Yep.
Others, they have done well too. Sisiku, yeah, like you said, or like Dr. Ngwabe said, he did a lot. And apart from that, coming back inside the house, he is man of the people. He will call. He will call his people who work with him and say, how are you people doing? I hope everyone is doing okay. That is great leadership in him. But he had his own weaknesses too. And the straw on the camel's back was that fateful day when we for the first time in the history of our struggle, or they are going to be listening to our plight at the United Nations Security Council or this General Assembly. Sisiku launches a parallel government. That was when he dipped his leg into the gutter. I don't want to go to the Nigeria one when my brother Dr. Nwame already pointed at it, And then Dr. Sako, yeah, I have been the one here. People have called him names, say, Bo, they'll come to the back and say, Dr. Sako is like this. I say, what do you think he is? I am exactly that because we are finger and nail. He had his strength. When he came with my trip to Boya, there was momentum. There was impetus, and people stood up like, we are making it because this is the action we have been waiting for, right? And before you discover we are here where we are now, it is sad and it's painful. Imagine all of the brains that we've got. Everything has been split and shredded into tiny pieces and spread all over the place. And there's almost
Yes,
no
yes.
Ambazonia anymore. So what next? Are these mistakes, are these weaknesses, and these things that are coming between us greater or smaller than what brought us together? If we can answer this question.
On that note, comfort. What next? We are going to get to that point, but
Right.
I like the overview you've given to the leaders. Let me make my own take on each of them. I will be very quick. For our former president Ayub Tawe, he was a charismatic leader. He could move people with his statements and his mannerisms. But what led him down was just this attitude, which it tends to be a virus that affects a lot of our leaders who tend to feel that just because I'm president, I have the right to do whatever I want, and nobody can question me. Not to belabor the point of view that you raised about the formation of a para government at a critical moment. My own point with that was the idea that you can sit in jail, confined by the enemy, in an environment in this world of today with all kinds of spy equipment and communicate with your people out there about your own liberation, and the enemy will not have the means to listen in on that. And I would wonder about what was the rationale for him to think that you can sit there and do that and be successful. That to me was a disqualifier. The disqualifier that I gave him. That was my one thing that completely told me that probably he wasn't. He was. I think he's somehow naive. I think that's one, which is exactly why he's sitting in jail today. Because if he were just a little bit more cautious, he probably would not have fallen in that trap that got him to Nigeria. He's a bit naive, and that's not good for a leader. That is the problem I have with Sisiku. With Akwanga, Akwanga, he has been a fighter from way back when, and we appreciate the contributions that he brought to this struggle. But my problem is with him is that he's inconsistent and he's a quitter. You don't abandon your people in the middle of the stream and then go sit somewhere. We don't know where he is today. I consider him a quitter, and that to me is a disqualifier. To go to Ayaba, as you guys have already elaborated, the idea that it must be me or no one else is not right. And secondly, he has a certain element of vindictiveness that I hate, which comes across as a dictator, someone who would do whatever it takes, including killing, to get his way. That to me, I don't like in my leader. Then you come to Bo Herbert. I really don't know what to say about him. Personally, I just added him here, but I really don't consider him a leader because a leader needs to have a following. I don't know if he has a following. He can be very eloquent. He has the facts, and he can be very influential, but he does not have a following. Maybe because he really has not developed his own it element. He does not have that it element. That is what is lacking in Boherbert. Then when you go to Dr. Sako, he comes across as a charismatic person that he can convince people. But I've come to realize that his intentions are a bit dubious, that he is not as sincere as you would expect him to be. And he lacks problem-solving abilities. I don't know if it's a willingness or is that he just does not have it. To be a leader, you have to be able to solve problems and be able. And when to be able to solve problems, you have to be willing to tell even those whom you love that they are wrong. He does not have that, and that is where I fault him. Then when you come to Honorable Weber, a very courageous man, a fighter who can stand in front of the lion and slap it on the jaw. My problem with Honorable Weber is that with that courage comes some element of arrogance. He needs to work on his arrogance. He has to be humble. He needs to learn to be humble And to understand that the Ambazonian people like working under a structure. What I've realized is that the Ambazonia people like working under a structure. They don't like a strong man anymore. They've been under strong men and they are now averse to it. That is why you see most Ambazonians ally with the interim government. They rally around the interim government. They don't like someone who says me, 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 me. So my advice to all these leaders, though personally I think there's just maybe one of them who has the potential of rising up and ever leading Ambazonia again. And I'll reveal that as we go along if we want. But if they have to, if there's anyone who hopes to lead Ambazonians in the future, he must be able to insert or ally himself or herself under a structure where there is accountability that can be verified, where people can ask questions and not be killed for asking questions, where people can debate with their leader, where there are other ideas around the table, not just one person who speaks and that's it. That is what Ambazonians want now. They don't like any idea of a strong man. So if there's anyone out there who is thinking that I can go out there and stand and talk, and Ambazonians will certainly rally around me, and there'll be more than what the number of persons that rally around the interim government, you're making a mistake. That is my advice to those who are aspiring to be leaders of this struggle. I think that's my own overview of it. Dr. Ngwambe, I see you are itching to say something. Please, real quick, let's progress.
You know, I want to add on to what you're saying. You know, one of the funny things that we did, I say, is I think it's those of us where we did US, where we mislook this leadership thing, especially in the African context, when we're in the African context, we're used to a lot of dictatorship and we're used to a leadership style where you don't criticize the person who is at the top. I don't know why our brothers who are in the UK, Germany, and some of these other countries that are more like parliamentary democracies don't really put a strong foot down, because me no, I like now that British style where you like the head of government, you go for front, your parliamentarians. They grill you, they cook you for that, you get for answer. They know they just leave at me, you just they talk like say, now you sabi, or no, they question you up and down, even though they respect your position, no, but they cook you fine with respect and hold you accountable. Not this thing that those of us Ambazonians in America, we're so used to this presidential nonsense, and it facilitates. I just don't like, as much as I love America and I love him, I don't like the presidential system. I just don't. I don't.
Yes. Thank you for that, Dr. Ngwambe. So that is an overview on an evaluation of those who have led us this far. Now, let's look at the present. Where are we? Where are we at this stage? Are we doing well? Are we not doing well? Why? Comrade Jiban, since you missed out on most of the discussion at the start, why don't you take a dig at this first? Where do you think the struggle is? I know you've been silent for quite some time. We were the ones that were marching up and down here, but you've taken a backstage. I hope you're coming back strong. So tell us, where do you think we are at this point?
Well, thank you for coming back to you can hear me all right. Just confirming if you can hear me.
You mind me putting you on the phone again?
Yeah, I would say he should mute the laptop and speak on WhatsApp. That would be best for us. We can't miss you, Jiban. Do anything.
Yeah, just turn off your mic on the. Let me. Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Better now, right?
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead.
Awesome. Okay. So how have we done since 2016?
Wait. Oh boy, Ben.
I don't know. There's another microphone on. I don't know.
The thing where you get for doing that, you see under that your screen now, where you see all we know. Some microphone there. Press that microphone, maybe
mute that microphone on your computer.
It is actually hover on the this thing and mute the vmix microphone and not the laptop one.
Okay, yeah, the vmix microphone.
The remix is muted.
All right, I think that's better now.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So, as I was saying, for the past 5 to 6 years, we have underestimated ourselves. But I want to say that, and this is going to be a little bit controversial. Amazonians, you have done well.
Okay. It did I say you get to turn the volume from the vmix off.
Yeah, the volume on your vmix, can you lower it to take it down to the lowest level?
I got you now.
All right.
Computer volume.
Yes. All right.
Volume is wrong.
That's better. That's better.
The only thing I'll only hear you on the phone.
Yep, that is perfect now.
I'm gonna play them.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, as I was saying, Ambazonians have done really, really well. It'll be shocking and maybe surprising to some, but you have done really, really well to hold Cameroon down. Sometimes you underestimate your enemy or your adversary. In this case, they are our enemy because they started killing us and shooting us with guns. So it's no more adversarial. The line has been crossed. So we underestimated Cameroon, or some of us are underestimating Cameroon. Cameroon is a formidable country in the sense that formidable in brutality, in their wickedness, in the way they commit their atrocities towards humanity. They are formidable in that sense. Therefore, the fact that we've been able to hold them down 6 years means that we have put up a good fight. Now, militarily, how can we turn this around? I often hear our people and the people that you have mentioned previously as leaders, they say, oh, we want to negotiate, we want to go to Switzerland, lead us at the negotiation table. No, they don't have to be any negotiation. What you have to do is, you have to humble Cameroon in the battlefield. And it's not very difficult to do. Our brothers, our sisters, our kids, our children, our younger ones at home, they have shown us that it is very, very possible, doable. Now, the ones in the diaspora, what are you doing? It's your turn to match it up so that we bring this to a close very quickly. I'm extremely proud of those at home that have come up with all the different techniques that they are equaling the Cameroon soldiers, French Cameroon soldiers now, in their fighting ability. I'm saying that those in the diaspora just have to help these people the best way that they can. And I'm not going to enumerate those ways here because they've been telling you in the places where you meet what you have to do. You have to just amp it up, do what you have to do, cut a little bit back on the social media noise. Do what you have to do. Give your people what they need, and then see the results that will come our way. People have come from behind us since we started our war, since we started defending ourselves, really. And they have done so, they've done extremely well that we now envy them. When we started in Mali, yes, they always had a little bit of political upheaval, but Mali found a way to kick out their occupier, their oppressor, that was France. They copied from us. They saw resilience from us, they saw strike from us, they saw fighting back from us, and they fought back. Of course, by extension, most of the European countries. They cancel the EU joint training mission. You want to look at Burkina Faso, the same story. You want to look at Guinea, the same story. The youth took their faith in their hands and they kicked out, long-standing dictators, and the military that used to kill them started fighting for them and defending them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to do the same. We have to take our faith in our hands, go at these people like we have nothing else, really go at them, and then, the rest is going to be history. So far, so good. We have done well. We need to notch it up. We don't need to relent. We don't need to stay constant. We need to notch it up.
Comrade Jiban, I know you can't hear me. Can you hear me?
I hear you very well.
All right. Okay. Now, I will hold your feet to the fire here. Yeah, I'm glad that you really want us to take it up a notch now. Can you commit that you're coming back to help us take it a notch? And before we go, I will not go without asking you this question. Is there anything you think that former President Sisiku did wrong?
Well, first of all, thank you for the question. I didn't go anywhere. I've always been here. I might just have not been very visual like I was previously.
Yeah.
But in every fight, the tactics change, the times change. You have to evolve with the changing situations as they come.
Mm-hmm.
So I just took on, different background roles that limited my, coming to the screen as we are now.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always been here. That's why when you call me, I picked up my phone right away.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Yeah.
So I'm here very much with you.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
So if you have my commitment, if you want my commitment, you have it already.
Okay, it's good to know. Joton Gwambe, Comfort, you are witnesses, right?
Yeah, sure.
And the Ambazonian people listening.
Oh,
yeah. All right. Okay.
Then you're asking me about Sisiku Ayutabe, who is my leader. I'm a crop of the Sisiku IG.
Okay.
Yes, for full disclosure, who is my leader, who is my great leader. If he was wrong, if he ever made it, I'm gonna maybe say wrong is a harsh word.
Mm-hmm.
Mistakes, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I'll generally say everyone has made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly my leader, Sisiku, he made some mistakes that I criticize him about when I've been my peers in Sisiku camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a whipping for it. I get a lashing for it. But if you know me from Mike, as you know me, I'll say it the way it is and take it free. So, yeah, I think my leader made some mistakes. Whether he was wrong, I don't know that he was wrong in fighting, accepting to be the leader, fighting for us, and sacrificing his time, and then up to the point where he's captured and he's in captivity now. So, I don't want to, and I really caution that, people, it's not a good, I mean, everybody's free to do what they want to do, but it's not a very good idea that somebody who is in captivity or people who are in captivity, we continue to ban them. If you think it was an error that he came out, I heard Stakonfo came out and said, Stakonfo Baneke.
Uni. Very well.
So I heard her say that he announced a parallel government on the same day that they had the UN security. I think it's the ARIA hearing she's talking about, the day of that hearing. If you if I'm in a weakened spot, if I'm in captivity, and I feel that you're about to sell me over some more, how do you think I'll react or behave? I might choke. I might react in an unexpected way. If I'm looking at this TV and Comrade Mike is saying that Comrade Jiban has got some mental disease there. And I know I don't have any mental disease because I interact normally with people, with my family and stuff. But you're saying I am mental, I'm being instrumentalized by the enemy. Meanwhile, I'm really not. I feel like you're sending me to the slaughter. The natural instinct of a functioning human is to defend themselves, rightly or wrongly. Sometimes you want to defend yourself, you charge forward. Sometimes instead of charging forward, you charge backward and you hit a brick wall. You hit your score on a brick wall and you score an on goal. So I think the critics and the people out here, I don't want to call names, it's inexhaustive. They caused that scenario that they're talking of parallel government, and as a matter of fact, that narrative of parallel government is not true. But that's not something that we should debate here. That's something that we can meet in our political forum.
Let me say this. Let's
be honest here, please. We are trying to mend to move on as a team, guys. Let's try to be honest here.
Yes. I'll give you the word very soon. What I have to say is this. For full disclosure, I want to state here that we stand with our prisoners who are being held illegally by La République du Cameroon. They did nothing wrong. Let me be very emphatic about it. They did nothing wrong, and they are not supposed to be in jail. Not just the Nara 10 or 8, but all of our prisoners who are suffering in the dungeons of La République, the Mancho, BBC, and the others, they did nothing wrong. They are being held illegally in a foreign land, as if they don't have a country. Why do they have to be moved to Yaoundé to be locked up? So we have to be very emphatic, and we sympathize with their plight. We may say things here about them, but it's not because we rejoice at the fact that they are being jailed by this brutal regime of Paul Biya. They should not have been moved from Nigeria into that goddamn country in the first place. They should not have been moved because though with the complicity of the Nigerian government. So I just want to put that, make that very clear. So, Comfort, you wanted to respond. Please go ahead.
I couldn't wait because Comrade Jiban, what we are doing here, right? We are not trying to chastise an already chastised person already. I don't know what I'm making any sense here. But to say that there was no parallel government, I can't listen to that because there is a VP Yerima somewhere adjoined to President Sisiku of your president, right? That's not true when you say there is no parallel government when you know there's one and you call him your leader. He used to be mine as well before Dr. Sako took over, right? Let's try to put these things straight. Because before we finally impeached and removed President Sisiku, which I equally voted for it, right? What happened? President Sako, in the days of Mr. Sako, would say, he is my brother. I am keeping this seat for him. I am waiting. Even the moment they finally resurfaced, we had meetings upon meetings. Sunday, they were one born for this seat. I sat here for over 9 hours, heavily pregnant, listening with the hope just for Sisiku to say one thing that would help me take a deep breath that finally Big Bro is here. Because what happened? People surrounding him, right? I don't know whether you would be one of them, but I don't want to call names because it's not time for it. But when time comes, only the people are here, I will talk to them that you did it because I hope they come here and I will come when they are coming. They fed him with the wrong information, taking advantage of his vulnerable position where he was, fed him with wrong information because they wanted, maybe they were fighting for this power thing or something, because definitely, even if we maintained him, there's nothing he would do. Why was he running away? Why was he in Nigeria? Why was he picked up? Because he is running this revolution. And then we still keep him as our leader. Given that La Republique is, like Nima said before, they have things to tap into his conversations and stuff. We could not keep him, but we were ready to keep him, make him our face of the revolution till the kingdom come. Even
Yes,
when we went to
exactly.
Berlin,
Exactly.
when we went to Berlin, 2019 Berlin, the bigger picture, the magnified picture was his, and Mr. Sako was below him. That was the picture, that was the image, that was the face. But because he came and was that father who ignored and hated the ugly orphan and could not listen and listened only to the preferred favored children, what happened, right? Because they fed him with a lot of lies. Definitely, maybe I won't say definitely, because maybe they wanted power at all costs and stuff like that. That is what has ruined us right till here. But then to say there was no government in
Comfort, if I may come in, we will have a break at the top of the hour. But if I may just come in here, I think one thing that most of our leaders keep suffering from is their inability to respect the structures of our institutions, the structures of government. Because what Sisiku did is exactly what Sako has done, violating the very structures that we put in place to guide our revolution. We must learn to respect the structures we have in place, whether we like them, the decisions that come out of those structures or not. For example, Donald Trump, when he left the presidency of the United States, he did not like leaving, but he had no other choice but to respect Congress, the decisions of Congress. When the decision was made, he had to go. He was screaming and kicking, but he had to go. That is what we have to learn to respect. Dr. Ngwabe, what's your take on this, please?
What my own take on this thing is, to my brother G Ben, is that I think we've all suffered through this situation where, because we've seen the type of tricks that La Republique does to destroy movements that are trying to either unseat dictator Bia and all those type of things. We know the type of funny tricks that they do, and because of that, we are very suspicious when we start to see things not look straight. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that it's unfortunate, but it was necessary to do what was done just because of where we have come from with the tactics that La Republique does to derail movements. It's unfortunate that they had the vilified Siseko Ayub Tabe, but I mean, we all know what La Republique does. Look at the coalition team that SDF and all these other political parties were trying to put together back in, I can't remember, was it 2003, sometime in the 2000s, to go against dictator Bia. What did those Francophone parties come there and do? They came and voted the cousin of Bia to be the head of the coalition government to go against Bia. It's just, I have the thing written up somewhere where I was going to explain to Ambazonians, but that's what they did. So you see how La Republique plays all these funny games, they do all this funny stuff like that, and that's what makes us very suspicious of even our own when times get hard. I mean, it's sad. It's really sad, but this is where we ended up. I really don't know what to say. I mean, I don't want to apologize, because, like I said,
we are trying to. I think there's not a lot to be said about the present. We have 3 more minutes to a break, but there's not a lot to say about the present. The present is where we are now. I think what I would like for us to really think through and tell the Ambazonian people as we go on with this program is to tell the Ambazonian where we are heading. I think that is very important.
Exactly.
We have to evaluate where we're coming from so we know where we're going. So I hope we are really thinking through to tell the Ambazonian people, how do we get to where we need to be? So if we can take a break now and then come back and continue with the discussion. For are the technicians there? I don't see us having a break yet. Let me see what's going on. All right, we will probably continue then, and the break will come when it comes. And okay, just before we go ahead, let me take one more dig at Dr. Ayabacho. When I look at Dr. Ayabacho, he reminds me of an abusive boyfriend who starts beating uh, his girlfriend when they are just dating. Uh, it's an abuse. I look at him as an abusive boyfriend who starts beating on his girlfriend even when they are still dating. Now the question is, some women, and I'm putting you on the spot here, from comfort. Some women don't mind just hanging around this kind of boyfriend that beats you even when you are still dating. He has not spent anything on you as a dowry. He has not bought any wedding gown, nothing. He's not given anything to your parents, but he thinks that he has a right to whip you. Now you still choose to say, "Oh, I will marry this guy," because you think you are going to change him, right? And then you marry him, and once you get into the house, your face becomes a punching bag. And then you begin, and then you start doubting why he's beating you. But you saw the signs when you were dating. So the question is this: given Dr. Yabacho's mannerisms, where he has uh, showed a lack of restraint when it comes to exercising violence, even against some of the most vulnerable people, including those who previously have been very loyal to him. Now, if some Ambazonians decide that this is the guy we want to be our leader tomorrow, why should you be surprised if he magnifies what he is doing at this stage when he is still just courting the Ambazonian people? Can we just take a dig at that before we proceed, please? Comrade Jiban, what do you think about that? Is that a good analogy? I'm sure I can still hear you.
Yeah, I just had to walk
Okay.
get the volume of the computer up.
All right.
Yeah, so, yeah, you're asking about Dr. Ayabacho.
Mm.
First of all, I want to thank him for his service.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were standing on their shoulders
Mm-hmm.
for the things they've been doing for God knows how long. Most of the things that I know and that a handful of other young people that came after their generation know is from the inspiration that we got from their agitation and resistance against Cameroon, the establishment of the Cameroon system upon the Ambazonian people. In fact, apart from Gongodi Dinka came up with the Ambazonia country name, but I think Dr. Ayaba took it to a whole new level. Even when the thing was dying down, when I just escaped Cameroon and came to exile overseas, it is from him that I got the inspiration about Ambazonia. Right away, I disconnected with Cameroon. I've interacted with him in the past, and will still do if the opportunity arises to interact with him in the future. I don't agree with some of his strategy, but I think sometimes the criticism on him is also unfair. Some people have just joined the bandwagon of bashing him, and I just see it from a different vantage. You know, they always talk of the cereal box that has 6 sides. A box of cereal, conflicts. It has 6 sides. If you count that box, it's not a normal box. The box is a six-sided type of. So everybody sort of see that box from the side, from the vantage of where they're standing and looking at it. So I think it's time that we have to get together and say, hey, how do you see this box? From what angle do you see this box? What do you see? And all the sides of the box do not have the same graphics on it. I don't know if the manufacturers do it intentionally but all the 6 different sides, you're going to see something different. So everybody's going to be telling you from the side that they see it. And if we're just holding to our positions and saying that this one is bad, this one is terrible, this one is atrocious, then it'll be difficult to even move an inch. I have to make a big decision to honor your invitation to come today because I have love of country, I have love of our people, and I want us to win this thing. So Dr. Choyaba, has he made mistakes in the past? Yes. Remember the choking that I spoke before when we spoke with analyze Sisiku?
Yeah.
Every time you have a man, and when I say a man, I'm not just talking of males. Anytime you have an ambitious person corner, they can either react in 2 or many ways. One of the ways is they can panic and then choke, which means they start doing the wrong things. Or they can over-energize and they even do, worse things.
Okay.
Let me just finish. That's why I'm trying to be very careful.
I see. I can see that.
It has to make or break. It's not as easy as because we could come here and just say these simple words and lambast, but at the end of the day, what we say or do here has an impact, especially to our people on Ground Zero that they are watching us and we're sending a message to them. Make no mistake, as bad as any of us might think that any one of the people, or especially Dr. Choyaba is, he still has people that are following him, that are listening, that are waiting for his instruction. By the second, they live and breathe by his instructions. So he has earned his leadership. And by comparison, his followers trust him more than any other leader. I think he's got the most loyal followers. So we have to also look, why is that? He has, there are pros and cons, and but look, we have to look at his effectiveness and the aspects at which he's effective.
Thank you, Comrade Jiban. Let me, I'll come to you next. But let me say this for full disclosure. When I thought about this topic of discussion today, of evaluating our leaders and making it open here, because I know many of them will watch this show, the intention was to hold a mirror in front of them so they can see themselves and see how people perceive them, and see if there is anything they can correct in their behaviors and attitudes to make them better persons. If they watch this show and they can understand that we are saying this from a point of sincerity and with good intentions, that we wish they could correct those things about them that are not perfect, so they can be more acceptable to the Ambazonian people. That is why I thought I should bring this show, so that we expose these things, because sometimes when people just talk in a bubble, maybe it doesn't sink in. So I hope they're listening to what we're saying, that we shouldn't shy in telling them what we think they are doing wrong so they can learn from it and improve. Comfort. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, Comrade Mike, Comrade Jivan. I was just shaking my head when you said a few things. All of us know Mr. Ayaba, Dr. Ayaba Cho, whatever he wants to be called, right? I think every Ambazonian would have gone around these six parts or corners of this conflict or cookie box that you are talking about. And me making it round through this, somebody is accusing me here or attacking me here violently for daring to say I can't establish the fact that Ayaba Cho is working for La République du Cameroon. However, I have equally personally gone through these six sides of the boxes. The only good thing I find there is Ayaba Cho's grandiloquence and loud beau dire, right? He can speak and speak and speak and really speak well. I appreciate even the presentations he has made out there in those countries and so on and so forth. But apart from that, the other sides, on one side, you will see selfishness. On the other side, you will see manipulation. On the other side, you will see dishonesty. On the other side, you see all of those things. Because, Comrade Jiban, if you would have a minute or a second at some point from Nimai to just point to at least one thing, you know, when you say he's got the largest following and stuff like that, whoever is following the Dr. Ayaba Cho right now as we speak with all the enthusiasm and the hope that he delivers Ambazonia are like that girlfriend who is being punched in the face and she still waits to go into that marriage with that guy who is showing him that I will show you Pepe when you come from my house, right? Ayaba has to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he is not what Ambazonians think he is. He speaks well, that is just it. But he doesn't act well because I can't, to be honest, I can't remember when we have reported that the ADF fighters were engaged in a fierce battle with La République du Cameroon, and either one ADF fighter died in the course of the exchange or La République du Cameroon died. But we have heard them rape our people, we have heard them kill our people, we have heard them done this and that and that. He doesn't come out to even say, no, this thing you are saying is like this or like that. But when you hear them listen to their leaked messages from the guy, I've forgotten his name, one of these men of his, they planned the death of our boys on the ground and they died. Capo is one of them. Yes, Capo Daniel and this other guy, whether it's Kiki or who or this guy.
Pascal Kiki.
Okay, now, Pascal Kiki, when you listen to the leakages where they planned about one of these hours, when they planned, they killed them. When they planned, they killed them. Even the moment they want to fake a reunion or a come together, people die. Look at what happened in Gwarzone and all of these places. I just want you to name one thing apart from his wonderful speeches. I wish I could speak like him. Then, and I hope this speaking could take us to Ambazonia. We would not be here today. Ayaba Cho would have long taken us home. You know, so it's not about hating somebody. You not point a child's mistake, but call it by its name and tell them, hey, this thing you are doing is not correct. Reason we are here now and Sako is the other way, because when you try to call it by its name, you are an enemy. So if we sit here in front of 8 million Ambazonians and well-wishers, and we try to say Ayaba Cho was being over-accused or we took it to extremes, I would say no. Come back to the idea of collaboration. You remember this thing that Dr. Sako arranged, organized in Akon, that they called in the US where all these leaders had to meet. Until Mame Jera called, say, my comfort, I've never seen this kind of reunion in my life. We are going live tomorrow. Our leaders are finally united. But when they met there, Ayaba Cho did not find himself standing shoulder to shoulder with these guys, and he sent a representative. That is arrogance. We don't take that. That is not the Ambazonia we want. And if it were just that, we shouldn't leave La République du Cameroon, right? We are calling it by its name because we will not leave from here not discussing what is the way forward. Because I will sit here now and speak and either defend or indict Ayaba Cho and the rest. People are dying. That's why we are sitting here now. The moment we pamper them and say people who took it to extremes, I don't see it. Ayaba can speak grammar. That is just it. Apart from that, he needs to prove to us beyond reasonable doubt that he is Ambazonian enough to fight and liberate this country, because we are ready to move on as that team and make it happen.
But taking it from you, comfort. Dr. Ngwambe, taking it from Dr. Ngwambe, what's your understanding of the fact that the ADF, despite claiming to have a lot of fighters and even weaponry, has not been able to demonstrate any action against the enemy? How can you explain that?
Joseph Wirba gathers Ambazonians. The time for his long-awaited great vision for the liberation of Ambazonia has come. The vision that inspired him to stand up for southern Cameroons in Cameroon's parliament to condemn Ambazonia's subjugation. The vision that got the oppressors hunting for his head. Wirba's vision for the freedom of Ambazonia is even stronger and clearer today than before. Let's come together, stand by him and with him. Join him in Stuttgart, Germany for the great come together on freeing Ambazonia. Wirba now has a direct route to Ambazonia's liberation. All routes lead to Stuttgart, Germany on Saturday, May 14th. Be there. Honorable Joseph Wirba gathers Ambazonians. The time for his long-awaited great vision for the liberation of Ambazonia has come. The vision that inspired him to stand up for southern Cameroons in Cameroon's parliament to condemn Ambazonia's subjugation. The vision that got the oppressors hunting for his head. Wirba's vision for the freedom of Ambazonia is even stronger and clearer today than before. Let's come together, stand by him and with him. Join him in Stuttgart, Germany for the great come together on freeing Ambazonia. Wirba now has a direct route to Ambazonia's liberation. All routes lead to Stuttgart, Germany on Saturday, May 14th. Be there. Honorable.
That is, we're back from our commercial break. Again, Dr. Ngwambe, I will give you this opportunity you were about responding to the statements made by both Comrade Jiban and Comrade Comfort. Dr. Ngwambe, are you there? Please go ahead. Hello? Okay. Yeah, audio.
People like, oh really?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, so part of the challenge that some people that like me they face, people like me were in the sense saying, we try to take a nuanced, we try to give a nuanced critique of what is going on, because I don't feel like, ground zero is a bit complicated. It's not as much as we like to believe that whatever the leaders here in the diaspora give instructions of ground zero for them to do, if we think that they're doing it, then we are sadly mistaken. That's not how it works. You understand now? So that's why I try to take it when Yabacho and the ADF, they have a lot of faults. You're right. But for people like me who try to take a nuanced look at what he does while taking into, trying to take that into consideration, where we are having a difficulty in giving him the credit that some people may want to give him the credit for is we have yet to really see where his fighters are fighting. I know everyone says this, but for me, it's the truth. Are the people who support ADF, are they trying to tell us that their fighters are just so disciplined that they do not record any of their actions, they don't leak any of their actions, none of that stuff? Is that what they're trying to tell us? I don't believe it. I don't believe it, because we're all Ambazonians. We're not different from each other. As much as some people will try to fool and play that game, we're not that different from each other. So when you look at the fact that fighters from Fako, Ndian, Ngokitunjab, Mezam, especially our great heroes of the Buffaloes, and even some of the Bafut LJ who've done work. We go up to Bui. We know Donga Mantung has done work recently. What about our brother Field Marshal, the King Oliver of Lebi Alem? I mean, we've seen their actions. We don't see that video then. Even me said I did for form them where that form them na neutral form them where all kind of people then did it, whether you've been an ADF man, you've been a Konigi group man, you've been a Marianta person, you've been a Sako person, all we did it. And most of the videos where they come out now from people, most of the action video where they ever see them, now action video where they come up from the system of the IG. I'm dead serious. Those are the videos that we now that kind of video where we see. We know I don't ever see any better video where it come up from Ayabacho side. And I know see you get supported and for that form, that supported and be very, very vocal. The only one video, the only correct video where I ever see from Dr. Ayabacho now that for that he take over force. When he be do that, he take over force, they be much all that spectacular they be do. But outside of that, we haven't really seen anything. And that's the thing that makes it very difficult for anyone to, to come out and give him the due respect that he needs to be, that some of you think he needs to be given. Unfortunately, he's over associated with, or his fighters, let me say like that, those who claim his banner, they're overly associated with the harming of Amazonian people. And it's going to take a lot of work to clean that up. A lot.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ngwambe. I would like for us to transition to things you mentioned, collaboration. I think Comrade Comfort also mentioned collaboration. My question is this: unity and collaboration, is it possible or necessary to have it? I'm being provocative here. I know collaboration is necessary, but how should it be done? What are the prerequisites for effective collaboration? Can there be genuine collaboration without a predetermined goal or objective? Comrade Japan, are you there? Take on these questions, please. Collaboration, unity, is it possible? Can it be done without some laid down rules on how it should be done or what your collaboration, without a purpose? Can you have collaboration without a purpose? What's your take on this?
Well, unity, collaboration, sometimes used interchangeably, sometimes very complicated to analyze and define. But we need it. It is only during when people have collaborated and worked together that they have achieved anything in life. It is only when the United States cooperated with the Soviet Union that they were able to put people in space on the moon. It is only that collaboration that brings satellite images that we all see and enjoy, including beaming this broadcast right now to the continent of Africa and everywhere. So even though they are fighting and they have great disagreements among themselves too, I'm talking about these two big countries. So we absolutely need collaboration, unity, working together, however you call it or look at it. It is very important. Okay, let's just say for somebody who is of the school of thought that we don't need any unity or collaboration at all, right? But everybody just has to do their own thing by themselves. And if we get there, we get there. So if we finally get there, what happens? You're going to block other people from coming because they were not collaborators, or the ones that are already there, you got them out because they did not, because you don't want to collaborate with them or you don't want to deal with them. No, in our scenario, it's a very unregulated scenario. We have the good, the bad, the ugly. We have to deal with it. And that's where leadership comes. Leadership is not only in selecting the good and dealing with it. Leadership is in selecting the worst of the worst and turning it around. That's how great leaders have been seen or picked. It's not the person that inherited a rosy, establishment and then just kept it afloat. That to me, that's a fine person. That's not a great leader. A great leader is the one that, or great leaders in our case, we are all leaders. In our case, the great leaders of this time, of this generation, will be that we work together to overcome our common challenge. We work together to accomplish a common goal, which is that free homeland and that independence for the Southern Cameroons, Ambazonia.
Okay. All right. Yes, you're right. We definitely need that collaboration, I should call it that. And
but let's be careful. We can work very carefully. If somebody is the one that hurts you, you can still deal with them very carefully. But we should avoid trying to sell over the ones that we perceive as the people that are not collaborating. Because, like our brother Bambe said earlier on, all we know is no place will come out. When you don't agree with somebody, you want to submit that person going.
I get your point. I get your point, and we don't intend to do that. I hope we don't do that. But again, let's also understand that we are working in a virtual environment where you really cannot compare anyone to do anything. We almost depend on the goodwill of those in this struggle to do the things we want them to do. We have been hung up because we tell someone do this, and the person say, "I'm not going to do it." What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You have to use maybe coercion to compel that person to do what you want. And when that coercion doesn't work, then sometimes your hands are tied. So, Comfort, what is your take on collaboration? Is it necessary? What are the prerequisites? What should there be collaboration without a purpose? Tell us what you think about this. Audio. Yeah, audio.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
all right.
good.
Well, it went off for some reason. So I was saying, if you could permit me, I would take 3 seconds a step back to answer quickly. You asked that, like, at the point, where are we now, right? Where if we start from here, we'll definitely discuss collaboration, because as far as I'm concerned, we are at the crossroads now. And this is that point in time where we need to arrive at a crucial decision that needs to be made with far-reaching effects on the impostor, right? And so that is when collaboration comes in, and whether it's necessary, whether we want it or not. You want to, first of all, if you say you don't want collaboration, or you don't want unity, or whatever you want to call it, ask yourself first, why are we here? What are we sitting here doing for 5 years now? Is it for fun, or is it just a show off that we sit and shine on TV? No. Something caused us to be here. What happened in 2016? Close your eyes and watch the mama that held that nkeng. How many thousands of people? They broke the streets from my phone to down there. You go to Bui and so on. About half of that population is dead. Right? I understand the fact that people have built their strongholds. The La République de Cameroon divide and rule has caught up with us. However, we have still stood tall, because in spite of our inner disputes and bickering and stuff, we are fighting for the same thing. If somebody says, my brother Njibam is La République de Cameroon because he doesn't support my president Marianta, I will say, no, he is not. He is going he is fighting for the liberation of the people of Ambazonia, right? And so this is when collaboration comes in. It is hard to say people should tear down their strongholds that they have established. You are not forced to do that, because maybe when we go back home, they will convert into political parties or whatever. I don't know. However, there is diplomacy to be done. There is defense on the ground to be carried out by you and I. We can speak all of this grammar and so on and so forth, but let's collaborate on the diplomatic front. If we know that, if we know that, if Ayabacho, for example, you will know that's a name, that's a necessary evil for us, right? So if Ayabacho were serious and he says, I am the defense person here, we would say, okay, come now, where are you fighting? Where are you based on the ground? Right? So that we talk to our boys. So these are ADF, these are Akwanga boys, these are the Ambazonia Restoration Forces of the interim government. And this is how we operate. If basically ADF is in Alabukam, right? The moment something is happening, there's something is happening in Alabukam, We will get the ARF and the other ones to pick up and do stuff. We will discuss with Ayabacho to quickly get this, and we also get ours, and they meet up. That is when collaboration comes in, right? And then on the diplomatic front, if we know that Yerima and you guys are discussing with Sweden, we will not go there. You will tell us that this is how far we've gone with Sweden, and we are speaking the same language. When Sweden says, no, you are fragmented, you say, no, we are not fragmented. We are talking to you because the interim government is talking to America and Akwanga is talking to South Africa, right? That sounds like collaboration to me. Because what are we trying to do? We even make what we later will call from three economies, a division of labor, and it makes things even easy. Because there are times some of these things we look at them, some of these things we call fragmentation are actually kind of way of empowering ourselves if we look at it with the critical eye, or the eye of honesty. Ask yourself, why are we here? If you know the response, then you will collaborate. Then you will even unite. I don't care, right? Because right now, since 2016, I found me a new, different family. Comrade Jiban, you will not see somebody hitting on me and you don't stand up because you are Sisiku and I am Marianta. You will stand up and fight for the Amber lady who is your sister, right? That is what we are up to, and we are capable of doing it. If we know that we sit here and speak and these animals are raping our girls, the reason for which I left and sat on this table till today, then we will collaborate, we will unite, or whatever we want to call it. That is how I am looking at it, Comrade Mike.
Thank you for that good articulation of what it should be, comfort. And again, I will say this: there is always a question. The use of these two words, collaboration and unity, but I think that we are always placing them as if they have the same meaning, but I don't think they do.
They don't.
I think in order to have unity, you must first have collaboration. When you collaborate with somebody, that means you are working with that person. When you have worked with that person and that working relationship is good enough, you can now take it to the next step of unity. Because now when you go to unity, you are now saying that you are one. You are saying you are one and indivisible, as a lot of people would like to call it. But unity means the two or more pieces coming together as one. But collaboration means just having a working relationship where you share whatever you want to share, intelligence, ideas, whatever it may be. But the mistake that we always get here is that people try to put unity before collaboration. That is putting the cart before the horse. And we run into a lot of problems doing this. So, Dr. Ngwambe, what to you is the difference between unity and collaboration? And how has that worked in this struggle?
So thank you, Tom Mike, for that question. There's something interesting. Those of us who live in the U.S., if you pay attention to American politics, whenever the president goes abroad, right, the leading government officials who are stateside, they avoid criticizing that president while he's abroad. I beg Ambazonians, when I check sense for the Oibo people, they are logic. You understand? No.
No.
Check sense for that thing. So as Malcolm will be talk, when you're going for your diplomacy, why do you have to hate on the next person? If they're speaking about, especially if they're speaking about a pro-Ambazonian stance, why do you have to hate on that? No talk bad about this thing, about that person, your movement. Just talk, say, yes, you're going to surely meet up. This is my other brother. If he is talking about Ambazonian gaining its independence, about the fact that Dictator Biya has been killing us, French Cameroon has been marginalizing us, then we are all speaking together. If you want to get any distinction between you and the person, that's probably the best thing that you can do. But if you're going there and you're saying, Master, no, listen, for that man, a dumb man, what do you do for here? Then you're feeding into this perception about us that we're not united, or that let me say not united, that we're not we don't have one purpose. We're not all fighting towards one purpose. Now, the important thing to go along with the other part of the question that you've asked, Mike, is that how has collaboration helped us gone so far? The report card, it doesn't. I mean, for those of us who are in the diaspora looking at it and not really being in the pot to know what is cooking, it doesn't look good. You understand now? Based on the information that we're getting through the WhatsApp forums, which are heavily infiltrated and all that kind of stuff, the information that we're getting about the collaboration, you have to be careful about what you choose to agree with and what you choose not to agree with, because some of the information that's coming out, it will help feed whichever perception you have about how collaboration is working. Because the information that's coming out, some of us, we want the collaboration to work, but the information that's coming, it doesn't look like it's good. I mean, look at the Unity Warriors situation. The information that's coming about that, it doesn't look like it's good, but there's another side of it that says that it's good. So it's hard to really measure and judge this thing. For those of us who are in the diaspora looking, the information that we receive, it is not really reliable. I personally, whenever I get any particular information, I put it in one corner of my head, I file it, and see if there's anything that comes along that helps corroborate it in one way or the other. And then I try to use a lot of common sense in trying to analyze the information that I receive, because we're getting a lot of faulty information, a lot of bad narrative. And this is why I say that this thing that people are against collaboration, right? Are the fighters that are affiliated with our different sub-organizations, are they telling you that they don't want to collaborate? Because for me, the people who are running their mouths the most and saying no collaboration is just some people in the diaspora. But what are the fighters saying? The fighters are the ones who are next to those bullets. They're the ones who know the next group that is next to them or not, right? They know whether they should collaborate. That's the way I look at it. You understand now? We in the diaspora, we're sitting here, if we're pushing against that collaboration, any collaboration, that means we have to be doing it based on the information that are coming from the legit fighters who we have worked with. They've shown that they're productive, they've shown that they're consistent. And what I'll tell you is that from what I'm seeing from the fighters, it doesn't look like they are against the collaboration. So why is it that we in the diaspora are acting as if we're the ones who are cooking in the pot? We're the ones who are facing the bullets. We're the ones who are down in ground zero. We know who the next camp is, if that camp is an enemy camp or not. Why are we acting like that? I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, Dr. Mabet, let me pick up from where you just left off. Let me say this. I think there is good collaboration and there is bad collaboration. Good collaboration is what? Is when you, for example, let me use the fighting analogy down there as say you have your camp in Widikum, and there's you see the La Republique terrorist soldiers coming by, and you attack them, and then they start running up to Mbengwi, and you alert. Maybe the camp down in Widikum is that which belongs to maybe the IG, right? And then they're coming up to Mbengwi. Maybe there's an ADF camp somewhere in Mbengwi, and you call them and say, look, we just hit these guys and they are running up to you. You better wait for them. They are coming up. And then they come up in Mbengwi, wait for them. And they come up and you deal with them. And then when you deal with them, maybe there are some that keep going up towards Bamenda and they are going towards Bali. You call the Bali camp and you tell them, look, we just finished with them. We got this number here. There are more of them coming your way. You better be ready because they're coming your way now. And then they come and you deal with them. That is good collaboration. That is good collaboration. What is wrong with what we see on the ground is when a certain group goes to another group and says, you have to work under me or else. If you don't work under me, I will do to you this. Or actually, they actually do it. That is not collaboration. That is not even unity. That is dominance. That is subjugation. That is assimilation, forceful assimilation. It is wrong.
Here's the challenge in where I can understand where some of these movements, groups, or people who want to call themselves governments, why they may be insisting on some of that. Because there, to a degree, as much as we want our brothers and sisters who are fighting in ground zero to be this thing to be collaborative, but we do need some degree of command and control. Even though it's impossible to really doing it from the distance that we're doing it, but there has to be some degree of respect of hierarchy and respect of supervision. And I can understand why they may do that, because in the early days of the liberation struggle, one of the issues that began to happen is that fighters, because they wanted to play both sides, they will come and sing this song, oh, I did with you, take your money, then go to the next person, I did with you, take your money, go, did they collect money? Then when you look at the output, you're like, damn, when I do it with that money, you understand? No, so that's why you begin to see certain organizations, they begin to say, you know what, you all need to align a lot better than you are doing, because Ambazonians, we don't have a lot of resources. We have the time because we are in our territory, so we can bleed La Republic and make it expensive for them to continue to control us. But at the same time, Ambazonians, especially those who are financing this liberation struggle, they want to see results. And we want to see results that is equivalent to the, well, not as equivalent as possible to the money that we're giving. And when we don't see that, that ticks people off. And that's why you see some people will say, hey, we want you to adhere to us. We want some degree of loyalty so that we can prove to those who are funding us that work is being done that is sufficient, somehow equivalent to the money that's being given. That's why people are asking for this, you know.
And to that point, I think one of the things that goes against the effective collaboration is this idea that I want to prove that I am the only one that can do something, or my team is the only team that is doing something. We do not have that collective, that a family kind of behavior or attitude or approach to how we do things in the struggle. If we thought that we were one family and that whatever you bring to the table and whatever I bring to the table contributes to the betterment of the whole family, which is how it should be, right? That whatever ADF brings to the table, whatever the IC brings to the table, whatever Akwanga brings to the table, it contributes in lifting up. Whatever Sisiku brings to the table is good for Ambazonia, and it helps to fill our pot. But when you feel that if the pot has to be filled, it must be filled by me alone, then not only are you not trying to fight the enemy, but your other hand is going to hold your brother so he will not be able to bring something to the table. It is self-defeating. It is self-defeating. It doesn't serve us well. What do you think about this, Comrade Japan?
He's trying to set up.
I'm both my technical man.
You do well, bro. You do well.
Thank you. So again, we are only saying things over and over. Right now, where it starts, the place where it is now, everybody gets to start talking about the talk. So I'm going to hear from. Everybody get a drop everything where you do. Calm down your high horse. Hold your nose. Work with the rest of the team.
That's it.
You understand? And we know coerce people and we do because as you already admit, no way not really the way you coerce anybody. You know, we make all talk to social media shout, you know, at the top of our lungs, but people they already act up more. Some people, when you try to correct them from afar, it's like you just pour more fuel on the burning fire. They act up even more. You make a statement about them, they go and make 3 press conferences about you. Facebook is free. You know, whatever social media platform that you think if it's not free, it's cheap, it's affordable. So people are at liberty to act out in public. And unfortunately, we live in a new social media age where acting out is a new norm for some people. And some people don't find anything wrong with that. Somebody could, you know, come on Facebook and move their, you know, their skirt or their blouse, and, you know, they're going to have audience. They're going to say share. So let us pull back a little bit from the social media audience. And then we really meet like brothers and sisters are meeting. Like people in a family meet at the big compound every now and then. be it Easter time, Christmas time, cultural week time, whenever. Back home, as you all know, there were those days, those periods of your life where if you lived in the city, you had to travel back home to the big compound, and then everybody will go to the palace, and there will be a celebration, and then after that, we go back to the city when they have discussed all those things and solved, settled all those little disputes and cleanse the land and libations, and then you go back to the place that you're going, and everything is fine. They blend you for the next 1 year, so you come back again. So let's do that. Let's really get in house, do some soul searching, come up with some workable solutions. This thing is our own to win, but it's also our own to lose if we don't do what we need to do to get this thing over the finish line. Because I want to lose that it'll just drag on and drag on. It'll just be stale and stale, and the people are just, the ones that are dead, they're not coming back.
Right.
And when people die to an extent, God knows, we don't want to say the unthinkable yet, but we have the choice. You and me, we all here, we have the choice to change this thing tomorrow, to make that the people who said, oh, they want negotiation and they want dialogue. You can force it to happen, but you need to do certain things for it to happen. It's not by talking about it on TV or in the media or talking at the top of your lungs that is going to happen. No. There are very simple things that you need to do. People don't need to die. La Republic people don't need to die. Their soldiers don't need to die. Because those are also people's children who are, because of poverty, they're being, brainwashed to go and kill people. If we can just implement some very simple things, that will change. We didn't even need to go this long. That would have brought the attention. If we hit the right pressure points, that's what I'm trying to say. The things will just sort themselves out normally and naturally. The next day you will see this, they'll be making those phone calls, the pressure will be going to your need to, they'll tell them you need to leave that place. So if we have to maintain both sides, then you need to leave that place. Better you live there, we have a piece of them and we have a piece of you. Rather than you being there and we lose everything. Because we should really now have the mentality of either we'll get 201 or no man enjoy anything. And we can make the Gulf of Guinea hot. Really, really hot. With oil and how much, petrol and how much for Europe, for America, for everywhere. If we make that price and go up, the same way it happened for Ukraine, if we make that price and go up, change the price of petrol, everybody will call you to talk to you. Everybody will answer their problem. No need for the struggle with the fight. Yes, we're going to find them. We're going to find them. If you want, you go out and leave this Atlantic Ocean tomorrow. That price go up.
Okay.
In pension fund, it drop in value.
Okay. Current Japan. We are now, I think, on our last topic, which is, of course, we are now looking forward.
Yes.
The future. Where do we go from here? Can Ambazonia's independence be achieved under the leadership or the leaders mentioned above? Or do we need a new crop of leaders? Example, Marianta and others, to run the last lap of this struggle. Can the old guard do the job? Or do we need to clean house and welcome a new crop of leaders to finish this last lap of the struggle? Given the evaluation that we have given to the leaders, their pluses and their minuses, what is your take on it? Let's go around, and that is the last topic we're doing. Dr. Ngwambe, you want to go first?
Yeah. Thank you, Tam Mike. If and my fellow Ambazonians, when I don't watch the program from the beginning, then we'll be start by discussion. I'll be talk about how the Ambazonian liberation struggle is about a spirit. It be about a spirit of change. We don't see the different changes of leadership and progression in the liberation struggle, and that's what is there. So, will the current set of leaders? Do we think that they're going to take us? Maybe. I mean, there's no harm in saying that maybe some of them can come back at a later point in time and lead again. But for me, from the way I see them, each man has come. They've done their time. They've taken it to a particular level. Another set is coming up, and they'll take it to another level, and that's how we're going to continue doing it. Because one of the things that we're fond of saying in this struggle is that no man will be go for school for learn how to fight liberation struggle. Well, if that's the case, then why is it that when a different set of people are coming in to take over who have been working with you, you're afraid to hand over to them? That means we're just giving lip service to that statement, say that nobody learned how to do a liberation. We're just giving lip service to it, but not me. I'm not giving lip service to it. There's some people who do know, some people who do have managerial and administrative experience. There are people who understand war, what it takes to structure it, what it takes to win it. They exist, right? And it's just going to be time. Some of these set of leaders, like I said, they've done their part. Eventually, those who think that they're the saviors and only them will take us to Boya, they'll get tired of them and they'll clean house, and another set of leaders are going to come through. That's what this liberation struggle has proven, and it's going to continue to do that. I know there was a banner up that was asking, have the leaders failed? I don't think they failed. They just did what they were supposed to do, given what they knew how to do, and given the experience that we Ambazonians have for this kind of stuff, because we've never been through this. We've never been through this, and these leaders, they've come and we've been able to experience certain things under them that is conditioning our mind towards what we really want and what we really need to achieve this liberation struggle. And unfortunately, anyone who's on seat as a leader now, or who has been on seat for a long time as a leader, your time is up. You know how they talk now. They talk say better you leave the power before the power leave you. That's just how the Amazonian liberation struggle is, and that's what I think about it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wambe. What I would like to add is this. The one thing with great leaders, if you look, great leaders know what their limitations are, and they know when to hand the baton on to others. The problem we have had in this struggle is that our leaders have not been able to know when to hand the baton to someone else, even when they are called upon to do so by the institutions of the state, which they recognize, most especially at the onset of their own leadership. They recognize those institutions, but when it comes time when you are now at the point of exit, you start discounting those very institutions that recognized you when you came in. So,
and that might, even when
smart leaders know when to step aside and to know what their limitations are, so that they can now benefit from new ideas, new energy, new players. There's a reason why in a game of football or any other game there are replacements. There's a reason for it, because you could get injured. You could, for some reason, not get up well on a particular day. No matter how great a player you may be, you come to a point where you are not performing, and you should not question the coach when they tell you, okay, it's time for you to give up your position for someone else. That is the problem we have had. Comrade Comfort.
Oh yes, thank you. I think you both have said like almost all, but we need to be honest to ourselves. We do appreciate all what these people, either our leaders or those posing as leaders, have done so far. We do appreciate even the mistakes they have made. Yeah, even though we call to others to actually do something about some, bad behaviors, extreme bad behaviors. Talking about the leadership now, I think that change is needed. And I will go back to the various liberation movements again, those strongholds that people have built and hold tight to them. Again, I would say we are not asking you to tear down your strongholds, your liberation movement, your groups, but let power change hands within that movement, within that group of yours. Let's look at SDF, Termite. ADF, SDF, Social Democratic Front, Salvador, they front
Yes.
now as we speak, right? SDF was formed in 1990 when I was in class 7. Right now, I even feel that I'm too old to be a leader of that kind of a thing like that. But the same leader is the same, is there. How do you criticize
Yeah.
him when you are doing exactly the same thing? Let's change. When you change and hand over power to the other person, it's a kind of an honorable thing. You earn the people's respect, you earn you're a man of integrity, your dignity is maintained and stuff like that. Like when they talk, a lot of things there for this one man country where they live. We learn only bad one. Dr. Ngwambe don't first quote something when the president is out, nobody criticize them. We have learned even here in the UK, right? A parliamentarian, a member of parliament resigned because she laughed, or he or she laughed when something serious was being discussed. Another one resigned because they came late, about 5 minutes late to a meeting and stuff. Even Theresa May finally came up. He stepped out. She stepped out, even though she was voted out because they say, "Oh, you are not bringing us Brexit." She did not hold tight. Even the Trump of all people, we need to let power change hands, right? There is a new momentum now in the IG, thanks to the effort of the coup plotters and stuff like that. If secretaries did not come up to say this thing, they will stand up and say, all right, the time is now. There's a new momentum now. People are happy we now have a lady as a president. Young people like Jeka, and they're now like, oh, we finally have a young person as a president. Let them just do what they want to do with their new president. Let's have this change and then step back. This is, I think there was, I hope I'm not digressing a lot. There's one of the recommendations Secretary Chris tabled, which sounded like he passed an ultimatum. When I read, I was like, oh my God, this is one of the most laudable proposals or commendations I've ever seen, recommendations. Because he says, let all of us sitting in this cabinet now step aside and then get all the new faces and then back them up, push them forward from behind with a new team. You know, the new faces come with their new followings. You don't know how many people have come up to this struggle because Iya Marianta is sitting here now, right?
Yeah.
So some of these things, let us be honest to ourselves. What are we doing? We don't want to hold tight to power. There was no need of leaving La République du Cameroon. Let's be happy with the grandfather out there if he's still alive, even though, you know, and then let's be happy even with Mr. John Frundi and stuff like that. Let's just be comfortable where we are. Let power change hands. Let's experience new leadership. And then when you step down from power, you are even the greater leader here because they listen to you. They come back because you know, so you be grandpa, you get the experience, you get all of those things. And it takes us to places, I think. It makes a giant stride.
Yes, Comrade Comfort. I think you made a good point there. And especially you have to understand that stagnation breeds disease. We all know that if you are someone who is just sitting on one spot, you don't get around and move around, very soon you start developing all kinds of illnesses. So stagnation breeds disease. So frequent change. There's a reason when you look at the world, the most progressive countries are those that have a frequent change of leadership. Right. Just look around the world. And those countries that have one person sitting there decade after decade, they hardly make progress. And even in those rare cases where there seem to be progress, there's some calamity that will come as a result of that stagnation. So all we need to do is copy what works. Let's copy what we see that works around the world. All this idea of saying when you are somewhere, it must be me, or it must be me to forever. Especially when you are sitting there and there is the level of productivity is so low or even negative. And yet you don't want to step aside for someone else to give it a shot as well. It is what is keeping Africa down, and we need to get out of it. Comrade Jiban, your take on this. Let's close up on this topic. Comrade Jiban, are you there? Yes. Okay, you are doing your technical work first.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Sorry to put you through that.
Yeah, yes, you people have all said it very, very well. We need the young people to step up. We need fresh blood, as they call it. We need new leadership all the time. We need to be training. But for you to have that new leadership, you're not just having a new leadership, you're having a trained, new, equipped, and qualified new leadership. So there has to be constant training. You do training of trainers, and then the trainers train the trainees. We're not doing that in our teams, and it's regrettable. So each of these organizations that are out there, you have to do leadership workshops, you have to do trainer workshops, you have to do trainee workshops, which means you are inculcating into the people that are after you how you want them to handle the thing that you work so very hard in building. When your strength is reduced, when your ability is reduced, when your coordination is reduced, because whether we like it or we don't like it, the way God has made it and the way nature is, as time passes, you gain certain ability, but you significantly reduce or depreciate in many other I don't want to call all of them, but so it's quintessential. We cannot. It's not something you can avoid. We cannot go around it. My friend, Comrade Marianta, is now President Marianta. She's a great leader, and when they made her president of our own establishment, I called her. I didn't call her. I sent her a message. I said, "Congratulations, Madam President." I know she's a very ambitious person, and I said honestly, when I saw what they did and how they replaced Sako with Mr. Sako with at the time Dr. Tita and Madam Marianta, I said they'll make an excellent pair, better than Sako, and I gave my reasons to the fora that I belong to, that I voiced my opinion. I said they are established professionals in their own domains. Since they came to the diaspora, they work, they've established themselves, and they've probably even gotten to the pinnacle of, to the highest echelon of their careers in whatever discipline they find themselves in. As opposed to, you're going to pick a leader, and this has always been my point for those who have followed me in the past. You cannot pick a leader without a track record of leadership. You cannot pick a leader just because somebody comes on Facebook, which is, by the way, unpaid for, free, cheap, and begin to make analytics that they copy and paste from Google search. Anybody can do that. It's mostly people who have a lot of time in their hands, who don't have work, that can go and begin to do those kind of things. So Ambazonia, stop falling for that. Don't fall for the bling bling. You have to scratch the surface to find the substance underneath. Don't only look at we're good at looking, we've been trained to look at the surface, and the francophone was just saying in regard to Laba, but they're actually trying to distract you from where the goods are, sending you away from the goods. So you look at that dirty thing on the surface, you scratch it up and get the gold that's underneath. Those who know the process of mining gold, you have to dig into dirt. You have to really dig into dirt and dirty yourself up and dirty everywhere before you find the real gold. It's not going to be shining and laying on the surface of the gold, on the topsoil.
Okay. 10 more seconds, Commander Jiban.
Okay, so yeah, young people come on board, but shouldn't fizzle out. We shouldn't wipe away the older people. We should phase them out, which means they have to be around to coach the young people, strengthen them, and then we can hopefully have a better leadership transition structure. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commander Japan, and I really appreciate you coming on board. I hope that by the ideas, the interactions we have had here today on this show, that Ambazonians will be able to get something from it to determine what kind of leadership to look forward to going forward. And I just hope that with all the ideas, be it collaboration, be it leadership qualities, and be it unity, and all the things we have talked about, that we will truly, and especially, I hope that some of the leaders are listening to us and understanding and knowing what people think of them and how to maybe improve on their behavioral attitudes going forward so that they could be viewed more positively. And also, most especially, to learn how to hand the baton over to others. We have this idea in Africa where we are led by ancestors, as the Prophet Ambel said, that we are led by living ancestors. Living ancestors. We cannot allow that situation to be the case in Ambazonia. We have to make sure that if you look at the average age of leaders in Europe and the average age of leaders in Africa, the gap is just so wide. And as Comrade Japan said, when you advance in age, there are certain mental capabilities that start escaping you. You cannot be very alert as when you are at a certain age.
by him and with him. Join him in Stuttgart, Germany for the great come together on freeing Ambazonia. WIRBA now has a direct route to Ambazonia's liberation. All routes lead to Stuttgart, Germany on Saturday, May 14th. Be there.
They are still complaining.
Honorable Joseph WIRBA gathers Ambazonians. The time for his long-awaited great vision for the liberation of Ambazonia has come. The vision that inspired him to stand up for Southern Cameroons in Cameroon's parliament to condemn Ambazonia's subjugation. The vision that got the oppressors hunting for his head. WIRBA's vision for the freedom of Ambazonia is even stronger and clearer today than before. Let's come together, stand by him and with him. Join him in Stuttgart, Germany for the great come together on freeing Ambazonia. WIRBA now has a direct route to Ambazonia's liberation. All routes lead to Stuttgart, Germany on Saturday, May 14th. Be there.
I don't know if I'm still on now. I'm still on. I don't know if is the volume on now. Please, can someone let me know if the volume is on?
Okay, so I can see someone say yes. People are punching thumbs up.
All right. Just hang on then. Let me just end here. I'm sorry, fellow televiewers. I didn't realize the volume was off, but we are back now. So as I was saying, this is a trophy which is meant for the most productive fighting force on ground zero. It does not discriminate who wins it. It could be an ADF camp, it could be an Akwanga camp, could be under the IG. The only prerequisite is that you take the fight against the enemy, that you take the fight against La Republique, that you are protecting our civilians. You are not engaging in ransom taking or kidnapping. You are not engaging in rape, that you are doing a decent job. If you do that and you are taking the fight to the enemy, at the end of the month, we conduct an evaluation of the most productive fighting force on ground zero, and we issue a cash prize of 1 million amber. We already gave the first award to the expendables from Dian, and their money has already been paid to them. So if you are on ground zero, a fighting force, and you want to claim this award, you already know what you need to do. You know what you need to do. So that is all I wanted to say about this. And I would like for if the payment options can be placed again on the screen so that those who can support, please, we need more support because we want to be able to issue more prizes. We want to be able to issue more prizes. Say first prize, second prize, so that we encourage more groups on the ground to continue taking the fight to La Republique. That is what we want to do. But the means we have now is a bit limited. And we will greatly appreciate if you can chip in to support us. And when you are sending it in, whether it be Cash App or Zelle or PayPal, whatever means you are using, put there Ground Zero Award. Under memo, put there Ground Zero Award. It is right there, Ground Zero Award. That is, when you put it there, the money goes into the treasury and will be directed to us so that we can use it to encourage and motivate our fighters so that they keep doing a good job. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Gwambe, my sister Comfort, and of course, my brother Jiban, it was a pleasure having you on the show of The Zone today. And I'm sure I will surely be bringing you back for more discussions. This is not the last one. We are just beginning. And I can't wait to see you come in Japan. We have to go to the United Nations soon. So I want to see you back. Let's start knocking on the corridors, working together, sharing ideas. Like I said, the way we have to collaborate is when I pick the button here and I run and I'm getting tired, I should be able to hand it to you to run the race, regardless of whether you are ADF or what other group. Our common purpose should trump any selfish or egoistic intentions that we have. The liberation of the Southern Cameroon's Ambazonia should be the primary objective of our struggle. If we do that, we will soon be singing victory songs at the foot of Mount Fako as we celebrate our victory. So thank you again for being on the show with me today, and fellow Amazonians, and especially our fighters on the ground. Please take care of yourselves and each other. It's very important. Take care of yourselves and each other. Don't fight with each other. It's not necessary. You are only doing the enemy's job. So thank you again, and good night.